All right, today we are gabbing with the one and only Kempire, who hosts one of the biggest YouTube shows, podcasts. If you're in this space, you know him. He spills the tea. He talks to everybody. He is the guy in this space, and I'm so excited to finally get some time with him. Kempire, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I think this is a long time coming. I appreciate
Yeah,
it. I'm doing fantastic. It's terrible weather in New York, but what can you do? It's the winter in New York almost basically.
yeah. Starting to get to that phase where we're surviving, not thriving. We're getting through it.
Yeah.
Um, so earlier today, we're going to get into Potomac and Salt Lake, but earlier today, the Orange County reunion trailer came out. It's a quickie. There's nothing too much there, but I'm curious what your sort of top line thoughts are and kind of first reactions were to that trailer.
I had to watch it again because I was like, okay, my initial feeling was sort of like, that's it? But it's a
Hmm.
trailer. It's a trailer. So I always have to remind myself that it's a trailer. It's just giving you a glimpse. But the season for Real Housewives of Orange County has been a little lackluster. And it may be because they're harping on 15-year-old beef. They're alienating Katie. And I'm not a huge Katie fan, but we also don't love when someone outrightly, there's like a whole mean girl clique situation.
Hmm.
You didn't get much of Katie out of that trailer, I just thought to myself. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I guess the one thing that I could think about is her. It looks like she accuses Jen of fucking with her check because she alienates her or she stopped filming with her essentially. Which I think I get that totally, but I'm also like, she also got herself to a position kind of where that was her only ally, right? And so it's not entirely her doing, but it's not also entirely Jen's fault, I would say.
No,
But
if you should be mad at the entire cast, not
right.
just, but again, Jen was her only friend.
Hmm. And it looks like we just get a lot of Gretchen and Tamra again, which is just like, as
That's
you
not the
said,
selling
15,
point.
15-year-old beef.
And I saw Andy mention it. I think it was during his Call Her Daddy interview where he was also sort of like, this is old beef. We're still hashing it out. But at the same time, he's an executive producer, so he had to kind of clean it up. I'm like, but I think, it was relevant. I don't think so. I don't want to spend a three-part reunion watching that be hashed out.
Right. And it's like on the show right now, it's like her liking those posts from years ago that are transphobic and homophobic and just like all this nasty shit that has sort of been like, as fans, we knew this stuff. Like this has been floating around for a while that Gretchen has liked these things.
Mm.
But it looks like in the reunion, she's going to try to pull the card of like, well, I had a cyber analysis run, and it looks like Tamra is behind this. And it's like, first of all, these came out before you were back on the show, and so is the allegation that Tamra had these planted online in anticipation for you joining the show years later? Like, I think that's where we're going with this, and I'm not sure that's the road she wants to go down.
Gretchen is having the same season that Alexis had, and that's not a good thing. And I remember because I'm not a huge OC fan. It's not one of the cities that I watch from beginning to end. But everyone was so excited about Gretchen coming, and I was like, okay, I'll have to wait and see. But I am not impressed.
No, me neither. And again, like I've said this a million times, if they had started out with the 15-year-old beef and then got into something more current,
Yeah.
great. But they haven't, she hasn't been able to move forward with anything current, really, which is just maddening to me. But, you
Do you
know,
think she actually said what Katie said that she said in regards to the whole, what is it called again? I call it something else, and I don't want to say
oh,
it.
naked, wasted.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, I do. I do think she said that. And I think that they were sort of playing the long game a little bit with Tamra because they were anticipating probably Slade and her were anticipating rejoining the show.
Yeah.
And so they were trying to get Katie and Jen on their side, which was successful in one case, not in the other. I do believe it. And I also believe that Katie told Kiki Monique. So
Yeah. Things, things can be true.
yeah.
And now Kiki has come out and said that there was another person there that witnessed her say this. So who's that other person?
Well, now that's going to be season 20, apparently, at this point,
No,
Kempire.
no.
I'm just kidding. Please no.
I don't want to even mention like I like Kiki, but I don't want to even mention Kiki next
Same.
season.
Yeah,
Please.
we've got to move on to something new.
Ugh.
All right. So speaking of something new, I from Potomac this season, I am really feeling renewed energy. I am just like, we're only 4 episodes in. I don't know about you, but I'm finally laughing with the show again. I am just like, I really am looking forward to Potomac in a way that I haven't in like probably 3 or 4 years, honestly, at this point. Like I think it's great. How are you feeling still early in the season?
We are on an international trip already. We've taken, I'll put in quotes, a yacht. Which is a yacht. I got excited and then we were all cramped on this boat and I was like,
Hmm.
quite a yacht. I'm not, and
No.
look, I'm not bougie like that. I'm not hanging out on yachts, but I'm excited for them. They're at the Four Seasons. I love the fact that we're already on a trip. The same with Salt Lake City. We're already on a group trip. I don't really love to see my housewives work, and that's what I'm definitely noticing with the OGs. They're working overtime to
Mm.
keep drama going, but I'm engaged with the season. The season's not bad. I'm not watching it like I'm watching OC, like, oh God, I gotta watch this again. I'm still enjoying Potomac, and I said this last season, and I'll say it again this season. Stacey really is the Palo Santo of Potomac. She really cleaned up the place, cleansed the place, even if there were some lies in there. But that's common for Potomac. There are a lot of liars on this cast. They got rid of one, but there was a lot of liars on this cast. And still, despite everyone coming for Stacey this season, she is just glowing, and she's handling the girls. I never thought if you had told me that she was coming and that she would be this person, I would have never thought that. But she really is. She's giving grown woman shade. She's not letting them see her sweat like Angel is. I'm like, Angel,
Yes.
letting them see sweat, girl.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like you're absolutely on the money with Stacey, and it's like she is just they want to get a certain reaction out of her that she is just not. She's like she knows they want that,
Yep.
and she's just refusing to give it to them. Like whatever they try, like the latest in this episode, they get to the resort, they get to the Four Seasons, and Stacey's the only one with no name on her robe, with no note. It's just a blank piece of paper, which again, I guess going back a little bit, there are a lot of viewers I feel like who think that they're like, oh, she's being bullied, they're hazing her too much. Do you view it as like crossing a line with Stacey, or is it just like them trying to get that reaction out of her and making good TV? Like, what's your read on that?
I definitely think they're trying to make good TV. I think for me, where it becomes, I'm not going to say bullying, but where it becomes a little mean is that Giselle has the nerve to say to Stacey, I don't know who you are. And that's why she's doing it. I think it would have landed differently if Giselle's like, I know it's going to upset her, so I'm going to do this. And then I would be like, this is fun. This is funny. But their intentions, like, I don't know who you are. Giselle, it is 10 seasons in, and a lot of people would say the same thing about you. Exactly with Ashley as well. Again, I think, yes, this was something that we would laugh about in the normal days, the heyday of Real
Hmm.
Housewives, but it's the reasoning behind it. Instead of saying like,
Hmm.
oh, she's not gonna like this. I know she's gonna be upset by this. I'm gonna take a dig at her. Not come up with some lame excuse. I don't know who you are. Because it's going back with that theme this season of them constantly coming at her for everything. It's not just the TJ. Now, did you really get divorced? Where she's been vindicated. It's her bad breath.
Yeah.
This is where I think it's the compiling of all of the things that you're trying to come up against Stacey. That's why people are probably feeling, oh, it's mean, it's bullying. I don't think that particular thing was bullying, but her reasoning was just like, okay, now your joke has not landed.
Right, totally. And now that you sort of, parse that out, it's also like it does feel like almost every episode there's just like a new angle. And so it's like we're already kind of moved on from the TJ stuff from the reunion that like was all about the first episode, but we kind of now we went to Bad Breath, now we went to it's like we're it's interesting they already moved on from that, and that was such a big thing, that was like such a it really rocked the world of Real Housewives of Potomac, and like now we're just talking about the robe, we not putting her name on her robe. It's like it's I
And you
don't
said
know. It's
that too. She's like, I'm gonna go back to my room with the no name on my robe. I'm like, this is why I love her. And it's the same thing they tried to do last season with the bunk bed room. She's just like, I've always wanted to be in a bunk. This is what I love about her. And you just saw Andy say, I find you endlessly entertaining. And the way that
mhm.
he looked at her lovingly, I was like, uh-oh. He first of all, he loves her, but uh-oh for the other women. Uh-oh.
Yes. Yeah, because Giselle is definitely a favorite of the network and Andy when it comes to Potomac. And he also mentioned Stacey on Call Her Daddy, I'm pretty sure. So it's like she is definitely, they see her as this like beacon for Potomac, as what you called her, the Palo Santo. Yeah, it's like it's that's the perfect thing for it. And I'm curious also what you think about. because her and Wendy, I'm kind of finding are already a pretty fun duo to watch. Like, I think Wendy has read it sort of correctly, like, oh, it's going to be viewed as a gang up against Stacey.
Mm.
Let me be sort of on the other side of it, so I can be sort of her shoulder.
Yep.
But there was a comment at the very end of the episode when she was like, "They're gonna drop a dime on your ass" about Chris Samuels, and it was basically like Wendy saying, "It's your turn. You know, I've been through this for a couple years now. You know, Candace went through this. Like, it's your turn to sort of go up against. It's no longer the Green-Eyed Bandit. It's just Giselle and Ashley. Um, but one, I'm curious what you think about that, and then sort of underneath that, I think some people are saying that Wendy's sort of doing that to Angel. In,
Mm.
in,
Oh no, I would
okay.
disagree with whoever is saying that. No, Angel came for Wendy. Wendy did not come for Angel. And I'm not even a Wendy stan like that. And I gotta ask your pick your brain about that clip that
Yeah,
came out. You, it just ran through my mind. I definitely don't think the two are alike because
okay.
Angel, in her support on the sinking ship that is Kiarna, decided to come for Wendy, and Wendy really didn't come for her. Wendy is doing what housewives do. In a normal friendship situation, would we bring up what the friend said during a shopping event? Probably behind her back. But when we're talking about housewives, you have to remember, yes, it's a reality show, but they also are making a reality show.
Hmm.
So I'm not surprised that she brought it up, but she's also not the person that actually brought up the conversation. All of that began with Giselle, but no one's coming directly for Giselle. All the newbies are they need to redirect their energy. They need to redirect their energy. But I don't think it's the same. And I think with Wendy's reading the room, and I have to take Wendy in the season and not what's currently going on with
Yeah,
Wendy.
yeah. I think we all have to kind of compartmentalize it, honestly.
But I think and you'll see it at that table how both Wendy and Stacey were sort of playing off each other and having each other's back. I was like, oh, okay, they've already read the room and they're
Hmm.
already in some sort of alliance. But I don't think it's the same. I think Angel came for Wendy, and now Wendy is a dog with a bone now, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna talk about me to Angel, and watch her talk about me for the next 7 minutes.
Mm. And I'm thinking about that little sit down at the racetrack where
Mm.
they all get up, but Wendy and Giselle sort of sit back down on the couch. And they're like, they kind of like, it was a funny sort of pace to that scene because it was sort of like they left a little bit of silence between them because I think that they were gonna like, they were sort of talking around, oh, so you went to Temple with her.
Hmm.
You graduated when?
They're
Oh, I heard
plotting.
she didn't, oh, I heard she didn't graduate. You know, it's like a lot was being said without being said there, you know?
And the fans are turning on Wendy because they're like, "Oh, this is what you wanted. You wanted to be a part of the Mean Girls group this entire time." I'm sure there's an element of that, but we also have to keep. This is where the psychology of it all is
Hmm.
important, and which I love. We have to remember, Giselle comes from a sorority. Wendy comes from a sorority. This hazing mentality, although we do not like it and it shouldn't be normalized, they come from that. They come from that whole hazing mentality. So now that they're in this world that it's encouraged and they love to see it, and the majority of the fans love to see it too, let's be honest. I'm not surprised that they're behaving this way because now she feels like she's in with big sister Giselle Bryant. And now she's a big sister. And now they're hazing the new girl.
Yeah, I think that Wendy
Right.
feels like she's earned that. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think Wendy feels like she's earned that. I think they unlocked that at the last reunion. And it really doesn't bother me as much, I think, as it bothers a lot of people because I do think that's even if it can be a little obvious in the way that they do play it,
Yeah.
as you said, like the newbies are sort of being they're sort of directing the newbies. Like the newbies, if they could team up and really like redirect, it would be really smart and but
Tia,
what do you
Tia,
say?
except Tia. Tia can't be directed. And I'm
That
seeing,
Ashley moment.
yeah. Oh, and you saw
Ooh.
it from, like, what are you struggling with? Keep up. And then she turned it back around. I'm so mad that you didn't even, pinch my bum. I loved it. She told Ashley who she could potentially be, but at the same
Mhm.
time, like, let's bring it back around and make it nice. I said, Tia's one to watch.
That she handled that moment so well. She said, "If you're gonna dig, keep digging, but I'm not gonna get dirty with you."
Hmm.
That's a good line.
Very grown. But
Very.
Nigerian and British humor, the combination, oof, I'm waiting for it.
I love hearing this British accent on Potomac. There's something about it that just it's hitting for me, you know?
It's different, especially when someone, because if I say, "What are you struggling with?" it doesn't land the same when you hear a British person say, "What are you struggling with?" Especially because she's not even saying it harshly. I actually just said it harshly. She's like, "What are you struggling with?" Keep up. Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
Queen. Yeah, exactly.
I felt for Ashley in that moment, and I'm not a huge Ashley fan, but I was like, "Oh, Ashley." She's like, "I am keeping up." Are
I don't know.
you?
I don't know. I want to know what you think about. So this episode, Jazzy comes onto the scene. They're sitting at they're having food at the racetrack. Jazzy comes in kind of hot, but like she's excited to be there. You know, you can tell that Jazzy is excited to be back and she's kind of embracing, and she's really, it feels like she's right. I mean, they're having a bachelorette trip for her in her first episode back. Like it's, but I wonder what you think about the Kay and Jazzy thing. Because that just like popped up this episode and it's probably going to continue. Um,
I think
where
we're
where do
I think we're seeing a battle of a flute. Who's going to get this flute? Because from what I've heard, from what the Potomac streets were saying before it was solidified, who got a flute? Jazzy possibly was in contention. Don't know if that was true or not, but based off of this behavior in this episode, it says to me, oh, there was a little bit of a battle of we don't know our positions just yet, especially because both of them, I mean, technically, Jazzy has more of a solid relationship than Kiarna does. We don't know what that relationship is, and I do feel like the appearance of Greg, she got him all gussied up, and he brought over some cash. I was like, it's feeling very forced, very much like her beef with Wendy. It's feeling very forced. And it was interesting to find out exactly that Kiarna was talking mess to Jazzy about Wendy 6 months before.
okay, but did it not annoy you that Jazzy wouldn't say what it was? It was
Oh,
very nebulous.
I think that could be editing. I think that could be editing. Like they don't want to drop it just yet because for all
Okay.
you could have said it, and they just like, no, not yet. We're going to save it. I think we will definitely find out. If not, then it would be annoying. Because like,
Yeah.
what was it? I don't want to wait to the reunion to find out. Like we need to land that plane. Hopefully, maybe during this trip we will find out. Because if I was Wendy, I'd pull her to the side. What did she say? And I'd say it on camera. I'd be like, what did she say? I want to know.
Because yeah, you're probably right, but there was something about the editing that just felt like it felt almost final. Like they were sort of like not gonna go. That's what it felt like to me in a second. I was like, wait, I'm so frustrated. They didn't breadcrumb it right to me. I don't know. There was something about it that felt a little bit.
It's a little choppy with their editing. So that wouldn't shock me that we don't get an answer to it. We have to like, really?
You mentioned you called Kay a sinking ship.
Oh,
And it's funny because again, she's one of those people who I feel like Giselle's kind of riled her up in a way and gotten her, like she's sort of doing, I think Giselle's almost guiding her, like sort of that she doesn't realize that she is a little bit. And, you know, on the one hand, she's creating fake beefs out of nowhere and she is not winning most of those beefs, if any of them. But like, she is still getting a lot of screen time. She's kind of like in the middle of everything. And there's something to be said for that. You know, like she's kind of one of the stars of the season for me, even if it's not, you know.
even if it's not necessarily a good thing.
I mean, I'm just sort of like and I'm enjoying the season a lot. And so I'm trying to make sense of both of those two things existing side by side.
I love what you did there. You'd be a good defense attorney for her. Oh yeah, no. Now, I mean, when you put it that way, I'm like, well, you're right. She is getting a lot of screen time, and she's beautiful. That's why I call her Kiarna Beautiful Gown Stewart because that's all we're getting.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
That's all we're getting. Beautiful, beautiful confessionals, beautiful condo. But you're right. She is getting a lot of screen time. I think it's going to end up like Shamia did for Real Housewives of Atlanta, where people were excited about her. They wanted her to get a flute. She got a flute, and now she's just reaching.
Hmm. So then where do you predict it goes in terms of like she gets the flute over Jazzy? Is it because these beefs that were made up turn into real beefs and they continue throughout the season? Does Jazzy maybe like, you know, I don't know.
I don't know what happened with Jazzy. I did hear some stuff. I don't know what exactly happened with Jazzy this season, But something must have happened, and I don't know if it will play out on camera, but I was actually surprised to see even Jazzy talking about the show because I heard rumors that she was just like, I'm done kind of thing.
Oh,
Well,
really?
yeah. So I'm thinking that's where it may have happened, or maybe that's when she found out she wasn't getting a full-time flute. Not sure. But this is a
Ah,
speculation, y'all. But it
got
might
it.
make sense when were watching it. Because I think a lot of people are wondering why exactly didn't Jazzy get a flute over Kiarna? And Kiarna's not really bringing it. But a lot of times that's stuff about outside of the show and not what's playing out amongst the women. And a lot of times what they're fighting about, it's not exactly what they're fighting about. It's actually their position on the show. It's about the show, but they can't say that.
Interesting. Yeah, this whole Kay versus Jazzy flute thing it's going to inform a lot, I think, as you're saying. Like I'm not going to be watching it in the same way.
I'm enjoying Jazzy though. As soon as she came in, she was so bubbly. She was so full of life. She wanted to have a good time. And that's what I liked about her last season. What lost all of us was the whole timeline of those two babies and her now husband. It was sort of like, Jazzy, just own it. Just say that, in the beginning the relationship was rocky and we were still figuring it out. I think we would have appreciated that and loved her. But again, a lot of these reality stars or personalities think they know better than the audience, and they don't realize just being your authentic self, i.e., Stacey Rush. Okay, no, some people are like, is she really her authentic self? I really believe that's who she is, and she might lie a little bit, but so do some of y'all.
And clock it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's like they either think they know better than the audience or they play too much to the audience. And
Hmm.
as you said, being authentic is just the way to go in so many respects. The last thing before we move to Salt Lake is Angel. She's kind of hard to pin down for me in a way because it's like she clearly is. It's that classic newbie thing where somebody brought you in, you're a genuine friend of somebody who brought you into the cast. You want to remain loyal to them, but they're not in good standing with most of the rest of the cast. And so it puts you in this really precarious position where it's like you're either going to be called disloyal by abandoning that person, or it's going to happen to her what's happening right now, which is we don't know you. You're too loyal to this person. Are you just here for her? And
Yeah.
I'm curious if we think we'll ever go outside of that. Will she be able to break out of that mold?
I had hopes for Angel, especially when we had that scene and Kiana was talking about Wendy. Well, Wendy wasn't there, and it seemed as if Angel was like, "Did you ask about her kids?" Because her kids were sick, and that's why they were wondering
Mm.
if she would make the event. She made the event, and she's like, "Did you ask about the kids?" I was like, "Okay, look at Angel having her own voice, even against her friend." But then it took a sharp left, and I'm thinking there were conversations off camera where Kiana said, "You have to have my back no matter what. They're going to try and divide us." And that's what it seems like that is happening. And you see in this last episode, the minute, or was it this episode? Oh no, I think it's the preview for next week, where you see as soon as Kiana leaves, the energy shifts. And I feel like Kiana really was first of all, dragging the energy down of the group, but also dragging her friend down with her because the minute Kiana's not there, Angel comes to life and she is having fun with
Mm.
the other and going over to the quote dark side. That's what Wendy used.
So when she's not being chin checked, she can
Well,
really let her hair down,
I'm
proverbially.
I believe the chin check of it all because she got chin checked in front of all of us.
And and what you're saying is the same as the women have said. Like when she was shopping with Giselle, Wendy, and Tia, she had one kind of energy, and then when they get to Kiarna's house, it's a completely different kind of energy. I think
Yeah.
the same kind of for her confessional because her first episode or two, I was like, oh, Angel's kind of giving good confessional, like she's kind of like going there, and then in person, she is much more held back, and so
She did have
yeah.
like this sort of like vulnerable moment when she was talking about trying to get to know the other women. She's no, I'm a little different. I'm a little bit more reserved. And I get that. And this is her first time
Hmm.
filming reality. So I understand that. And I think we would be more than willing to give her grace. However, it's the dying loyalty to Kiana who is reaching, who is a drag. She's a drag in this group, and she's a drag to the audience at this particular point. And we don't love this for her. And then for her to double down on, oh, that's not a filtered photo. I was like,
Hmm.
girl. Just
Yeah, and
own it.
the filtered photo of it all, I think that it's like obviously that is sort of a mean girl thing. Like
Yeah.
you're bringing up how she filters her Instagram photos. Like
You were planning it from you landed in the island. Oh, we got to
right,
talk about that later.
right, exactly. They'll bring it up at dinner. But as you said, like if she had just been like, yeah, I over edited it. That what she again, she gave them what they wanted, which was a denial, which meant they could make it into a bigger moment, and then that gets the audience on their side because it's like, well, Angel, you're just not telling the truth here. Like we all have eyes to see, and
And it has nothing to do because I know some people are making it about her body and she just had a baby. No, we were
they
talking
said
about
nothing about her
hey,
body. They said nothing about her body.
exactly.
It
We're
it's
talking
it's neck it's neck up. Yeah,
yeah.
it's not. And I think that for them, I'm guessing, obviously they wanted this moment, but also I'm guessing with them, I think sometimes on Housewives, the women get a certain vibe from especially a new cast member or a new friend,
Yeah.
and they want to sort of convey that on the show that like, I don't like that energy, or I don't like that person in general, but they have to sort of like have a more substantial, like concrete thing to bring up to sort of convey that or like
Yeah.
indicate that. And I think in this case, this is sort of what's happening. It's like they're not really getting warm energy from Angel. They're not connecting with her, but like how do they sort of what's the example? Oh, it's that she's like fake on Instagram and lies about it, and then they kind of got their proof, I guess, with her denial.
Yeah. If she had owned it, she would have taken the wind out of their sails. It's
Hmm.
just like, yeah, I mean, all of you. And then again, it was another example where it was misdirected energy because now she's coming for Wendy and she's coming for her in the confessional. I'm glad Wendy called it out at the table. It feels like you have a different energy towards me than other people at the table that are actually the ones initiating these conversations. And
Hmm.
again, it feels like she's holding on to Kiarna's beef with
Yeah,
Wendy.
exactly. Yeah, she's just the conduit for it. Exactly. You wanted to talk about the Wendy.
Oh, I need to know what you were thinking. It's okay. Rewinding back, you did the interview late last year, almost a year ago, where you interviewed Wendy. You actually asked the question that I think a lot of fans are wondering why it didn't come up during the season. I don't know if you got any answer in regards to that. But in that moment, there were already little murmurs. I don't know if you knew at the time that there were murmurs where people were speculating that it might be insurance fraud. But people say that all the time. Anytime there's a housewife burglary. After now, in hindsight is 2020, and you're watching your own interview with her. What is your perspective now watching it? Because I have mine.
Yeah. So I had no idea that there were murmurs at the time. I
Mm,
genuinely, because whenever I've interviewed a housewife at the beginning of a season, and this was like very beginning of season 9, there's really not that much to talk about. So I
mm,
sort of like, I do the Google and I see like what has anything popped up about them between seasons, basically. And the TMZ story about her burglary came up when I was researching for that interview. I remember and I was like, oh my God, like, did we ever hear about this? Like, I don't remember this being like a big thing, but like, but I guess I had seen the TMZ story at the time, probably. But because no attention was paid to it or no attention was brought to it, I
yeah.
forgot about it. And so I asked her about it because you can hear my question. I was like, wait, did your home get like broken into? Like I was sort of almost confused just about like the lack of attention.
Yeah.
And so I had no idea. I would totally, was just
Very
taking her word
innocently
for it.
asking.
Yeah, exactly. In hindsight, though, that's sort of my biggest takeaway is that, whoa, I'm the only person to ever ask her about this burglary, which if you're a real housewife, and I know this sounds fucked up, and your house gets broken into or something bad like that happens to you, 90% of the women would make that a storyline on the show because it's just a layup, It's like you can mine that experience for good TV and for extending your time on the show,
Three.
And yeah, yeah, and it's just like any trauma that any of them have ever gone through. And like the fact that it wasn't mentioned once on the show, when I was watching that clip back, I was like, why was I the only one to ask her about this? Why was it never on the show? Why was it never brought up? That to me was such a difference from anybody else in her position
Yeah.
probably
Especially
probably would
because
have handled it.
I don't remember what she talked about in that season. I can't remember but I'm sure it's just one of the same things. Oh, I'm doing my
It's like
YouTube.
the YouTube talk show. It's like going to the White House. She brought Karen to the White House. Yeah.
And I think that's what she wanted to focus on, maybe because, again, innocent until proven guilty, but maybe, okay. Watching it back, I'm so glad that you did ask her because watching it, I said, okay, body language expert coming in.
Hmm.
The body language was giving, huh, that's
Yeah.
very interesting, Wendy. Why do you keep looking up? It was very interesting. And she even told on herself when it comes to the neighborhood, in the 20 years of the existence of the neighborhood, there's never been a burglary. And I'm sure you probably also saw that a neighbor called Tamra Judge.
Of
Yeah.
course. Yep.
All right.
Naturally,
Yeah, yeah. Called, but again, they say that
they corroborated that. Yeah.
it's a very particular neighborhood, so no surprise that they may reach out to Tamra. Maybe they listen to Tamra. They're not listening to other podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
And said that they immediately thought that it was insurance fraud then too. I'm interested to hear what their arguments will be. They've both filed their court documents separately. They want separate trials, both her and Eddie. Um, but the body language in that interview, don't be surprised if they ask for it to be entered into evidence.
I mean, it's also watching it back
Yeah, what did
after
you
that
think?
after that initial story, where the charges are that they staged the burglary, and I asked about the burglary and she went on for a minute and a half.
Mm,
Like she could have been like, yeah, there was, a really traumatic moment, and we got through it as a family. Like, I don't really want to talk, but she provided those details that you just mentioned. I didn't push for those really. I
no.
asked two questions and it went on for over 2 minutes, and so it was interesting watching like the whole that her long answers, and
Mm,
just, yeah. I don't know if she didn't expect to be asked about it in that at that time or what.
probably not. She's probably surprised, but that's that. I mean, kudos to you for even thinking about it, and then also being a good interviewer. I feel like so many interviewers nowadays do not allow space and time for the interviewee to speak and basically tell on themselves or tell a story that we weren't even expecting. So that's now now we can kind of like, oh, all
Hmm.
right. But the body language for me in that interview
Yeah,
was quite telling.
I
But
agree with you.
again, I'm gonna wait and see to hear where her evidence will be in this. But did you see Giselle and Robin and
Hmm.
what they had to say about it?
I was surprised that Giselle was even allowed to talk about it on Reasonably Shady.
Oh.
Well, because I feel like because they clearly picked up cameras again for the show
Hmm.
for some stuff. Usually
Hmm.
they would ask them not to talk about that kind of stuff on their podcasts and things.
Yeah.
Like Tamara doesn't recap OC for for hers and stuff, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, I did see that, and I think that tells you where their thinking is going as well.
I wouldn't be surprised also if they use the footage from that for
Hmm.
next season or whatever they're going to do for the rest of this season. I mean, if anything, Wendy or Karen might luck out because of both of them being in the spotlight right now, just because it won't be so heavy on one particular person.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about
Probably
sort
more
of
so
the
Wendy though.
the splitting of the spotlight kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I also am so curious if they get Karen to talk about it anywhere. Like, what do you think that Karen's sort of re-entry into like the spotlight, show or no show, like what do you think that looks like? Because there's so many options. It's like she'll clearly be a little bit on the finale. I don't know if there's other scenes that were filmed or not involving her, but does she go to the reunion at the end and like rejoin the group? Does she just wait till season 11? Does she go to BravoCon? Does she do a sit down with Andy? Like, there are so many different ways they can take this, and I'm wondering.
I don't think she'll go to BravoCon just because of, she's on probation, but I'm sure she'll get permission. I don't think she'll go to BravoCon because by then, which is only a few weeks away, by then, still her stuff will not be playing out. I definitely think she will be at the reunion because she missed the last reunion. We still need some questions answered. And then I think that will be her entry into season 11. But only time will tell. You just never know with how things have played out with Wendy, how that's going to shift what they're going to focus on towards the end of the season. But they might just allow things to play out the way that they're playing out and then let that be like, no, let's keep everything for season 11. But I definitely think we're going to get Karen at the end, season finale, if not the last couple of episodes. And I definitely think she should be at the reunion, especially because she missed the last reunion, so that we can close out all of the other stuff.
I
But
think
we'll
it'd be
see.
wise of her for sure, for sure.
Yeah,
I would honestly also take a one-on-one with Andy. I would take that from
I
her.
think that's happening. I definitely think that's going to happen. But
I hope so.
I want her to be with the group, and that sort of be her re-entry. And maybe this will be a part of the whole Karen part. It will be, she's part of season finale, the one-on-one with Andy Cohen. Then she's at the reunion.
Mm.
I think she will save this season because from what I've heard, her her lack of presence is felt,
Oh,
and
interesting.
and you're going to see Giselle and Ashley work overtime, which we're already seeing.
Hmm. Hmm. Wow. So again, it just felt for a while there with Potomac, there like weren't these big interesting things to talk about with it, and now it's like, whoa, there's the cup runneth over right
Yeah,
now in Potomac.
too much.
Yeah, the Potomac River's flooding over there.
Oh,
All right, so we don't have that much time to talk about Salt Lake City, but this was a banner of an episode. Like I feel like every episode has just been like insane this season. And I will say I am already looking forward to the other perspective from Below Deck. I don't even watch Below Deck, but we're gonna get episodes on Below Deck from the staff's perspective, which is going to be incredible.
yeah.
I mean, did you love this episode as much as I did? Like it was
I
just
I love Salt Lake City. I've been watching Salt Lake City since the very beginning before people were even interested in it. And I was like, you guys are missing out, except season three. Season three you could skip, I think. And that's the big
yeah, that's the
season when
worst
they
one.
should have had like Jen Shaw. It should have been an epic season, but it was so bad. But then
Hmm.
they came back in season four, and I was concerned after season four. But no, they came back hard last season. And
Hmm.
they're having a really, really great season. And this is like a really good cast. And Mary Cosby is being vulnerable in a way I never thought that she would be. And I think that's because Robert Sr. is not around.
Hmm.
And I think she's just like, I can be, I feel like she feels free. Probably because he's literally not in Salt Lake City. He's in Vegas, I think.
Yeah, I think that she must also feel empowered by like how because she wasn't received super well by the majority of the audience in her first run on the show, and she comes back as a friend of in season four. She's fucking hilarious. There is a little bit of a difference there, and then season five, she even is more sort of emboldened by that. She's full time, and then the reaction to the stuff with her son last season must have just like she must have been very nervous for that to air, and now it's like, okay, she can really be way more of an open book with us, and I think it'd be really hard for Mary Cosby at this point to like lose the audience. I
Yeah.
really,
She
you
would have
know,
to probably say something problematic again, which is
I
always
guess is
possible with her.
yeah, it's always possible, but I just feel like she has so much goodwill and she can feel that, which you can I think it carries on screen.
Yeah.
Um, but like the crux of this whole episode, you could tell that they were sort of trying to reheat the reality Von T's nachos, and I don't even mean that in like a super derogatory way because it's such an epic moment, obviously. But like you could tell, like they're like trapped in this place. They're kind of going between rooms. Like we have this information. We hear that Lisa is saying the same nickname for Bronwyn that the fan page that leaked the stuff about her was using, even though it's actually not the same nickname. They got that wrong.
Yeah.
So they have all these clues. If Danny Pellegrino said that it felt like a Scooby Doo episode, and that's sort of what it was like a mystery
Yeah.
solved,
Got to figure it out.
and Heather thinks that she has the key, but she really does not. Um, it was quite the ride, but ultimately I ended the episode in this place where I was like, there's literally zero proof that it was Lisa, and they just all completely took it and ran with it,
Yeah.
and
I
it
don't
was really
understand that.
frustrating by the end. Yeah.
I don't understand. And this is what I've said. I think Lisa's great on the show. A lot of really funny moments with Lisa, but they always focus on Lisa and they make her the queen, or should we say the Don of Salt Lake City. And especially this week, I was like, guys, where's your proof? What is the proof? And I think it's because we know the Housewives universe. We know as soon as there's a new housewife, people are digging up information on these women. So I wasn't completely surprised that blogs and bloggers or just fans were digging up this information on Bronwyn. Unless you had solid proof that there's text messages or something with Lisa Barlow, that I can understand. I just saw text messages with Angie in this page. So that would make me think that she would be the one behind some of this. So I didn't understand, especially Heather's approach, because I felt like Heather's made like a 180 when it comes to Lisa. And
Hmm.
again, this might go back to, are they fighting about what they're fighting about, or are they fighting about who's going to be the queen of Salt Lake City?
Mm, that's a
So who
good point.
knows? But I think
I,
it's proof.
I could sense the breadcrumbing of Heather turning on Lisa and Meredith and
Mhm.
going to the Bronwyn side of things sort of throughout this. You could just sense that it was sort of going that direction.
Yeah.
Um, but it was so wild to watch her confront Lisa at that last dinner. Lisa's in tears. She's like, I didn't do this. There's no proof. And Heather like follows her off the top deck. She calls John, which is like, what's John gonna do right now? She's like, come get me, John. And it's like, well, you just took a 15-hour journey of like multiple flights to get there, but that's neither here nor there. But Heather like follows her down the stairs. And she's like, that's what you're gonna do? You're gonna leave me? Like, and Lisa calls her like, you're not my friend. And it's like, well, you just accused her of lying about leaking all this stuff about Bronwyn, and now you're mad. Now she's the one that flips it to be mad that she doesn't want to be your friend right now. Like, of course she's gonna walk away and say that to you. Like, you just I think Lisa was hurt by Heather personally because I think that they got into a really close place and by the accusation as well. Like I think it was both of those things that really hurt her.
Here's the thing, though. If we rewind this episode a little bit, it was almost as if Lisa was sort of telling on herself at the same time. There were some moments I was like, okay, Lisa, you're kind of making it seem like you might have done this. I didn't understand that particular part of it. But again, there is no solid proof. But we also understand, we're not going to forget that Lisa has been the person that's brought up a lot of different information, the
Hmm.
Mary cult of it all, the
Absolutely.
Heather storyline. There have been examples. However, unless you have something that's solid, and the whole con win versus fraud win, they're different. I mean, we all come up with different names for these housewives when they get in trouble.
Hmm.
But it's not landing, especially now that the entire table is turning on her, except Meredith, even though Lisa looks at her as like, you better have had my back.
Hmm.
Mm,
Yeah, I can tell because Meredith had said in an interview with me that like they were trying to turn them against each other. Like
mhm,
Heather, how disappointed she was that Meredith didn't sort of like lead that conversation, and
mhm.
she was never going to lead that conversation against Lisa. Like that's just a fool's errand to try to make that happen.
Yeah.
But I do love when Meredith sort of chimes in with sort of her legal talk, and she's like, correlate what is it causation does not correlation is not causation, and there's no proof, and she
I mean, she's
looked into
right.
yeah, she's totally right. I just love when she sort of gets into that mode,
Yeah.
and she was like, yeah, I did look into the Bronwyn stuff, it's from 20 years ago, and um but she's also right that like it's now they're sort of deflecting from this always happens who did it versus what the information actually is.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
always forget to unpack that first.
Have you dug into? I have not, because part of me doesn't want to dig into something that's from 20 years ago. I would like to take, if it's a Wendy of it all and you got arrested while on the show or the year before the show. But this is years old accusations. But I have to say, Bronwyn's explanation on the show, I was like, well, that makes a little sense. And I don't know. I don't know if they practice or she discussed this with a crisis manager, Olivia Pope of it all. But I have to say, a lot of people saying, why couldn't you talk about it if you're involved in it and it's sealed? And I've been saying, I was like, well, if there are other people that were also involved,
Hmm.
then technically she really could not talk about it. But her reasoning that this was something from where when she was working and that she wasn't charged herself. And I was like, I was like, that's a good response. It's a
And
good
listen,
response.
I actually believe her. I believe her. I think Bronwyn, she explained it very clearly and I think probably as thoroughly as she quote unquote could. And
Mhm.
I actually believe I was buying what she was selling in that confessional. Because it was so like it was confusing when it had come out like what they actually were saying she did.
Yeah.
But those are sort of like catch-all things that were part of like the category of the penal code or whatever it was.
Mhm.
So I agree that like I don't think it's some like big smoking gun against Bronwyn that she's some like big criminal. No, like I think that she like she said she didn't pay 1 month of rent and then she got involved in this one thing 10 years ago.
Was
I
it
just think
10 years
it's
ago? Was it, or was it 5 years ago? Was it 4 years?
I
I'm
think
trying
I
to
think she
understand what
said
the actual.
I think it might have happened 10 years ago and the charge came like 5 years ago or
Um,
something.
so
I
while
think
she married Todd.
yeah, he probably was. I'm guessing he was allegedly probably helpful in getting this.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
yeah, that's what I think too. What what do you think of Bronwyn and Todd's relationship overall from what we see on the show? Because it frustrates the hell out of me.
I think it frustrates a lot of people. It works for Bronwyn though, and I don't think Bronwyn is this, innocent, meek personality. I don't think that. I think she plays that up for the camera, so that she's not emasculating Todd on camera.
Hmm.
But I don't think that she's meek at all. I
Me
definitely don't
neither.
think she's meek. But I can understand why people are like, what is happening here? Like he doesn't. You're literally saying that you don't love it when he takes your cherry. He's obviously not listening to you, and he takes the cherry and he eats it. To me, that's very symbolic of the dynamics in their relationship. But she signed up for this. There are so many people in relationships with this sort of dynamic. I think Todd is very real. When he's on camera, he's like, I don't want to do this. I'm not doing that. I'm really, if anything, we should take it very much like how we looked at Charles Oakley showing up for Angela. He's showing up on camera for his wife and supporting her, despite we know that Todd
Hmm.
father does not want to be there, doesn't understand Real Housewives. She's like, well, this is why I have to go on the trip. This is why I have to kind of move on with Lisa. He's like, I would not spit on Lisa if her brain was on fire. And I'm like, he's very real. If we're looking for reality and realness in reality, the Todd father is far we're going to get.
You're right. You're right. And him showing up when he doesn't want to be there is one thing. I just wish that he would engage more for her sake because she also doesn't seem to have anybody else to do those one-on-one scenes where she needs a sounding board and he's like the worst sounding board ever. So
What
it's
about her
like
mom? What about her mom?
I don't know if I would call that a sounding board. I think I would call that like she takes it and she hits it back 10 times
Trauma.
harder. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I
Um
love them both. I love them both for entertainment. And from in reality, I do not love them for her. But
mm,
for reality TV, I'm like, ooh, okay, give us more of this. What's going on
hmm
here?
hmm The other thing that played out this episode was the Brittany and Meredith situation. And I feel like Brittany, because Meredith gets accused of giving friend of, she doesn't give much, whatever. I personally disagree with that because I gravitate towards her as just somebody to watch on TV. But I also love these moments where she locks in and gets extremely activated. And I think Brittany is like the perfect activating agent for Meredith. Like we saw it all last season, multiple times. We're seeing it this season with the you fake seizures allegation, which is like that is just the
I love how
wrong
she takes it
word.
literal too.
Yeah,
She's
yeah, yeah.
talking about people with seizures. That is disgusting. I'm like,
Meredith does not play about health.
no, I love it though. I have never really been a big Meredith fan, but she's grown on me, and I'm like, okay, this is just a perfect cast. Even Brittany, I know a lot of people do not like Brittany. I was like, she fits in perfect. She was the missing corner puzzle of the Salt Lake City map. Okay, she is perfect for this cast. Delusional, she's kooky. I love the fact she showed up at that Us Weekly interview in a bathing suit because she
Oh my
felt
God.
out. I said she is nuts, but she's perfect. Perfect. I mean, that situation with her daughter, though. Oof. She can't, even in this week's episode, it's not just about Jared. It's about focusing on your daughter and not making a man your priority. It's not about,
Meanwhile, she just started her 30-day break from Jared, but then she slept with him right before he came to help her pack. And then the second they're not even on the boat yet, and she's making eyes at multiple men on the crew. She just can't really. That's just what gets her going. Like she loves
listen, her,
men.
her daughter's not around. She could focus on them right now. Her daughter's not around.
Listen, no judgment. There are some good looking men on that boat. I'm just saying she was really 0 to 100, or maybe she's always at 100. I don't know.
I think she's always at 100, which is great for us. I think she was so kooky and so fun to watch. I was like, I enjoy her. Everyone that hates on her, I'm like, you guys don't even realize why she's so important to this group. She is a fabulous addition to this kooky group of women.
and she's a punching bag that will just take it, you
Yeah.
know?
She was so
Like
happy
it,
that Mary Cosby wasn't there at the dinner. I'm like, I wish Mary was there at the dinner.
the unicorn, the
Oh,
Build-A-Bear, the Build-A-Bear unicorn with Jared's voice in it. And
yeah.
somebody pointed out on Twitter, they were like, it says, Brittany, you are loved. And
Oh,
somebody was like, is that him trying to get around saying I love you to her?
oh God. Probably. That's such a toxic relationship, but I think he is as thirsty as she is, and that's why he continues in this because, like, oh, I can be talked about on reality television because I'm the Osmond that never made it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So I don't need him to come along with her. Brittany is perfectly fine with her and her daughter issues. She gives us many layers. I hope that when they throw the unicorn overboard, that they throw Jared overboard as well.
It's symbolic for you. I hope. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
please,
I'm
please. I
with
do not
you.
want to talk about Jared next season.
I'm with you. And it's the last thing about this episode I feel like is the Angie being sick the whole time and Mary sort of skipping dinner to go, watch her. It's
I love
it's just,
that.
it's wild to think about the fact that like all of this was happening in this episode and like Angie and Mary were largely sort of removed from it, which is like imagine if they had also been part of this, it would have
I'm
been
glad that they were.
mayhem.
Because
Yeah.
I did not need another, Angie versus Lisa. We already had a full episode of that.
Hmm.
But I'm so glad that they still gave us in their room moments because it's like, oh, I need these little Mary moments. And then Heather coming in and Heather and Mary and Angie have formed a friendship. They were all hanging out for a white swap watch party last week. I'm
Yeah.
like, because they're funny. They're all very funny. I'm liking this little trio, but I really love Angie and Mary.
Me
That
too.
conversation last week, oof.
Oh, about the farts. That was
Yes.
just, and that's what Salt Lake City to me. That's sort of like a hallmark of it is like when they have these insane, intense moments, and they can intercut it with Mary and Angie just lying in bed talking about nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear that? Like that is just quintessential Salt Lake City at this point, where it's like it's just you have both sides of the spectrum happening at the exact same time, and it's perfect.
I think they've set themselves apart. I mean, first of all, the way that it's edited sets them apart. This episode this week, the way it began, the drama, man overboard. I'm like, whoever edits this show, even though it's the same production company that edits Roni, you couldn't tell. I don't know what they edit.
Well, look at the material. Look at the
Yeah.
material difference.
Yeah, because the way that it's filmed, the way that they put stories together, from the beginning of the season to the beginning of this episode, they deserve Emmys. So many people love to say that about other moments throughout Real Housewives history, but no, the way that Salt Lake City from the beginning, season one, that it's been filmed, and then the cast of characters, and then the whole Mormonism of it all, and the whole Mary's Church of it all, they are just in a different league.
Hmm.
Are you looking forward
So
to Rhode
grateful.
Island?
I am. I am. Like I will always get excited about a new Housewives franchise. I doubted Salt Lake City when they first announced that it was going to be in Salt Lake City. Like I watched it from episode one and loved it from episode one, but when you first hear Salt Lake City, you were like, really? Like that's where we're going? Or
Not
like even
Chicago?
or even Dubai. I was like, huh. And like I didn't. Dubai wasn't an amazing show, but it had its moments.
Yeah.
Um, Even Potomac, when they first announced Potomac, it was like Real Housewives of Potomac. DC's right
Huh?
there. They
Yeah.
could but they so doubting the location.
No.
I've
The
learned from my
character.
mistakes. Yeah, and so they find the people. They clearly found probably a really promising group of like Italian American women, and it's gonna probably deliver. Hopefully,
Do you think it's going to, people feel like it's going to replace Real Housewives of New Jersey?
I think that would be a big shame because I think the Jersey thing is just it just bugs me because I'm like, you have so much great talent right there that people are so invested in and love.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting there ready to go for over a year, maybe up to 2 years at this point.
They needed a break, probably, though. Because I needed a break from talking about it, being in the fandom of it all.
The
And
fandom, yeah.
I think Bravo did the long game with them. He said, we're going to wear them out because we know that they rely on this check. They know a lot more than we know, what
Hmm.
we're gaining to know. is we're going to wear them out because right now they're saying they refuse to film with each other. And they're like, oh no, we're going to let them know who's the real boss here. When you start missing that check, yeah, we'll give you little jobs here and there, but you're going to be like that little check. So I think they wore them out, hence why you're starting to see a change. Even Melissa, in talking about reuniting with Teresa, everyone's perspective is changing. Now they're more than willing to have a conversation.
Hmm.
So I definitely don't think that it will be the new New Jersey because New Jersey was of its prime, like before we even knew what that was. It
Hmm.
was New Jersey. So a lot of these housewives are fans. These new housewives are fans of the show. So a lot of the stuff is just not going to feel like yesteryear. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And New Jersey was definitely in my top three. There's Roni, New Jersey, and Atlanta.
Mm.
Those are my top three when this began. So New Jersey's had some really
Classics.
great moments in those early years because again, it's a circle of people that really knew each other, really loved each other too at some particular points. I mean, of course, it's taken a turn since then, but that's what made
But
it good.
and I think the love is why it became so intense on the other side of the spectrum. It's because
Mhm.
there still is that feeling there. It's just a different kind of feeling. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm totally with you. But in my hopeful world, we get some sort of announcement about it at BravoCon.
I
I'm
think so.
like because there has to be something coming regarding it because I feel like in September maybe Andy was like something's coming, and if
And they
you're
need to
right, it's
they
heating up.
need these big moments for BravoCon to make it be like, because I feel like BravoCon, although it's sold out, I still feel like there's not the same energy that previous years have had when it comes to BravoCon.
And if they do a jersey announcement at BravoCon,
Yeah.
winning. Like
Yeah.
that's just
I
people
definitely
would be
think
so
Roni is
happy.
going to be announced at BravoCon.
Which like I
You don't care. And Brody's one of my favorites, at least before the
yeah,
reboot.
before, but now I just don't feel
Yeah.
passionately about it. I really don't. And like, I wish I did, but
I'm open to it because I think it's going to be a reboot to the reboot.
it's just like yeah, yeah, listen, I'm open. It's New York. Like how could you
Yeah.
not find people who work for the show in New York? But I'm not there yet with it. And so I would be less excited about that, but I would, of course, welcome an announcement because I think just the waiting game gets frustrating. I'm just like, let's just like, I
Yeah.
like giving some time, but I'm antsy. I'm impatient.
Uh,
So,
so are the fans. Fans are definitely impatient. They're like, when is it happening?
oh my God. Well, it's been so much fun. I'm so happy that I got some time with you finally, and we finally got to connect, and hopefully in person sometime in the future. When and where can people listen to your show? Because I know you go live sometimes. You're on so many different platforms, and I admire it so much. Where can people expect to get stuff from you?
Yeah, you could follow me on YouTube, Kempire, everywhere, everything IG. I go live on TikTok. I also have the podcast, so I just separate content that people can find as well. And hopefully, maybe next year you'll see me in a city near you. We'll bring Kempire After Dark back in person to all of you guys. So that's a very different side of me. If you see me on YouTube or in podcast interviews like this, Kempire After Dark is a little different. A little,
Mm.
yeah.
Okay, I'll have to buy a ticket to the next one in New York. So,
You do not need to buy a ticket.
oh, well, I'll be there.
Yes,
I
good.
want to see this. Well, thank you so much, and have a great rest of your week.
You too. Thank you so much for having me.
I want to gab.